How do farmers reduce erosion? Let me just first say this. If you compare today versus 100 years ago, there isn't really even a comparison. Farmers have reduced erosion so dramatically on the farm. They're holding soil in place where soil used to blow around, used to wash around. There's been a dramatic change on the farm. We want to talk today about why.
I remember back just a few years back when my grandpa was still alive, we were doing a field day on the farm and we had dug some root pits. And my grandpa literally started weeping. And I said, oh no, I worked my grandpa too hard. He's kind of an old man and I made him walk too much. And he goes, no, Darren, I'm fine. I'm fine physically. He goes, I just feel bad that back when I was farming way back in the 30s and 40s, we did so much tillage that some of the ground has moved and now you're left to pick up the pieces. And you know, this is where a big difference has been made with the equipment that we have and the farming practices we're using.
All right, the way I look at this thing, there are three main reasons why erosion has been reduced. Number one is reduced tillage or no-till. Number two is tile. And number three is continuous crop, or put it another way, even if we're raising corn or soybeans, having some type of cover crop out there during the other months out of the year.
So let me hit that tillage point once again. So my grandpa talked about the only way they could kill weeds on their farm besides hand pulling them was doing tillage. And when you had something like grass coming, tillage was the best thing they could do. So they had to do all this extra tillage. Now we don't have to do that anymore because we've got herbicides.
It's not just that, it's also we have much better equipment to plant in, to just do field operations. So we don't have to use that tillage in that same way. We can put fertilizer on, we can plant into no-till.
All right, the other thing is, yes, nature is great and there's rolling hills and all this, but what happens with water? When it rains a lot, water cuts a new path.
Yep.
You see it with rivers all the time. They're constantly moving.
Yep.
It was the same thing out in fields, and farmers really didn't want to see that happen with their farm ground. So farmers have done some different things in the field with subsurface drain tile to help water move out of the field. That way, when we've got that water table down lower, anytime we get a rain, more of it can soak into the ground instead of having to run off the surface. The other thing along these lines to help with drainage has been grass waterways. So farmers took fields that were completely tilled and put some grass waterways in through the valleys where there's heavy water movement, and that protected the soil as well.
Yeah, and just cover crop in general, or any type of crop. So if you have water, it doesn't immediately hit the ground, it lands on crop first. Not only do the crop roots hold that soil in place, but the crop leaves slow that water flow down. So instead of hitting the ground hard, it hits the ground much softer. So if a farmer can have crop growing more months out of the year, then that seems to be a real good thing in terms of reducing erosion as well.
Well, once again, there has been a dramatic reduction in soil erosion over the past 100 years, certainly over the last generation with some of the different farming techniques and equipment that are being used. One other thing farmers use equipment for is stopping weeds like our Weed of the Week. We'll show you how later in the show.